Welcome back, harness racing enthusiasts, to another thrilling installment of Behind the Gate podcast with Scott and Kate. We're thrilled to have you with us tonight. And we should give a mention, of course, to our sponsors, Advanced Appetite. This is our fifth episode of the season so far. And we've got a great guest tonight. So without further ado, let's dive into the action and we'll see what lies behind the gate. Go ahead, Caitlin. You're going to introduce tonight's guest.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'd like to welcome a PEI driver that is very well known within the Maritimes and everywhere else. Adam Merner. He's a all-around great guy, first of all, and second of all, he's a trainer, a driver, a shoeman, a breeder. Like, he's the whole package of what harness racing really is. So thanks, Adam, for joining us and coming on and kind of chit-chatting about who you are and what you bring to the industry.
Hey, Scott, Caitlin, thanks for having me on.
Oh, it's great to be here, Adam. We thanks for taking the time out of your schedule. You had a fantastic year last year. Just gonna update the people who may not know you very well. Last year, you had 114 wins. Had a great year, over $425,000 in earnings, and you went over the $2 million mark last year too, Adam, in earnings, and a great average driving of 312 in 2023. So congratulations on a good year last year, and welcome to the podcast.
Thank you very much. Yeah, we were very fortunate. We had a great year.
And I was looking at your stats on Track It the other night, and I noticed that you started a lot of your younger career at Truro Raceway. So just wanted to kind of get a feel for that, kind of how you get started in harness racing and where it has evolved to, like Caitlin said, you pretty much do everything.
Yeah, no, well, actually, I started off my career, I guess, in Cape Breton at our home track in Northside Downs. But I moved to Truro in it was February of 2014. I took a stable of 6 to Truro, and I lived there with my brother Wayne, his girlfriend at the time, Rhea, and their little fella Bailey for around a year. And yeah, we spent the summer there, and we raced till I guess it was around December sometime, and I made the move over to Prince Edward Island. My girlfriend Melissa.
Yeah, so is that what prompted it on? You met a nice girl and headed to PEI and got involved in the horses?
Yeah, I met an island girl. I moved to PEI, and I wasn't here long, and I started to work for Ronnie Gass out at Dusty Lane Farms, and I was there for a few years, and he gave me the opportunity to drive a couple nice horses. Smiley by Emma was one of them, and a pretty nice 3-year-old colt there. We won the Breeders' Crown with Bo's Cowboy. We had a lot of luck and success together, and I stayed there for a few years, and then we branched out and started our own stable and having our own business going, and we've been pretty fortunate so far. So things are snowballing into turned out to be pretty good.
Yeah, definitely. And Caitlin, if you want to jump in here and maybe ask Adam a question.
Yeah. So you're pretty good at, doing your own stable, and then you go and you catch drive. I'm kind of interested in, because I know I've talked to Melissa about this, and she says you're so good at telling us, what a horse wears, or, this horse is, good in a hole, he's good on the front. What are 5 top horses that you really, really like to drive?
The 5 top horses, I guess, that I drove so far were Rose on Quest would obviously be right up there in top priority, and 2-year-old filly I had, Magical Mistress. She was an undefeated filly in 2018, I think. She won 12 in a row, and I had an old horse we brought from Cape Breton to Truro to PEI, likely to win. He used to race the Thursday night open here when we first made the move over, and he was a pleasure to have around. And Melissa's dad's and uncle's little horse, Red Magician, little chestnut horse. He was a fun little horse to drive. He could leave the gate, and he liked to sit on a helmet, and he'd give you a good pop to the stretch. And an old Inverness horse there, one of my buddy Walter Walker's, Euchre. He was a very classy horse to drive. He could do pretty much anything you wanted. Terry Gallant had him at the time, and he did a great job with him. He was a lot of fun. I won a Governor's Plate elimination with him. I won a couple big races, and I think it was him and Rose on Quest were my two fastest wins. 53 flat, I think it was, or 53 and 1. They're pretty special animals.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and you had mentioned Rose Run Quest, and unfortunately, a lot of us have heard the news about his passing this recently, and just wanted to get some thoughts from you, Adam, on he's been such a great racehorse over the years. I've had the pleasure of calling a few of his races, and just an all-around nice horse, and just kind of wanted to get your thoughts on having the opportunity. And he had a real comeback year last year.
Yeah, no, it was a tough one to swallow with him for sure.
Yeah.
Very unexpected, but I mean, then things happen, I guess. But he was the type of horse everybody should have one. Like, you go there first thing in the morning. He used to love bananas and carrots, and he'd be whinnying and open the barn door, sticking his tongue out. And he was so nice to jog. And in the barn, I used to take my little fella Jackson, and he loved him. His nickname in the barn was Bud, so he wanted to always go see Bud, and we'd take him there. And I'd put him up in his back and just walk away, go do something for 5 or 10 minutes, and realize that I did that. And I go back, and the horse would be still standing there with him in his back. Like, he was almost human. He couldn't talk, but he could pretty understand what he wanted you to do. And I always jogged him first in the morning when the track was hard or whatever. I jogged him in the center field. You could drink your coffee with him. He was just a professional, right? And like this last year, he had a great year. Blair let me price him for where I thought he was competitive, and he didn't have to race in over his head. And we had a great year. He got a 70th win, and it was a lot of. He was a lot of fun, and that was definitely a hard one to accept. But those things happen, I guess. He's one that I'll tell you, they're not easy to replace. That's for sure.
And he raced some big races over the years, and last year to see him come back as strong as he did, and I know he really became a part of your family, and it's just too bad, but like you say, those things happen, and he was just such a great racehorse, so we'll certainly remember him for a long time.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. He was a pleasure to drive too. You could leave off the gate with him, you could take him back, and he wasn't ignorant or bully. You could drive him just with 2 fingers and move him whenever he thought. He knew how to win races. Obviously, he had 70-some wins when he was done, and he just that type of horse makes you look good.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So you've got over 750 wins. And we got to ask you, out of, all those wins, Adam, is there 2 or 3 that kind of stand out as when you look back and say, there are 3 of my biggest races, or, races that I've won? Is there any that stand out to you?
Yeah, I thought about that question, actually, Scott. And there's a couple, actually. Obviously, my 500th drive and win was out of our barn with a mare Melissa trains, the Miss Moise. That was pretty cool to get that out of her barn. And Rose on Quet's 70th lifetime win. I mean, you're not going to do that with many horses. And the track record, I had a couple track records in Truro with a few colts. Jaden's Magic Steel as a 3-year-old, and then Mr. Kelly as a 3-year-old. He set the track record over there for a little while. And this year here, a 2-year-old filly in Charlottetown, High Roller. She set the track record once, and then we sent her away, and she came back, and we raced her in the first week of November, and she paced 55-1 on a pretty miserable night. So that was a pretty impressive win, I thought, for a 2-year-old filly. It was only an overnight race, but I mean, it's still 55-1. So
so we were talking off camera before we started this podcast, And you had mentioned once you get your racehorses in and all the horses in from the field and stuff for this year, you've got what did you say, 22?
I think once all the racehorses are down from up west and the ones that are still up turned out, I think there's 24, 25 altogether. Yeah. A
Wow.
lot of work.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's kind of take us through a day in the life of Adam Merner, with that many horses. And like Caitlin says, you pretty much do it all. So you
Yeah.
do
No.
you do most of the track work, Adam? I mean, that many horses, you must just be going all day.
Yeah, I get up around 5 and time I let the dogs out and then get myself ready and head through the Tim Hortons drive through and head to the track.
Yeah.
I'm usually there around 5:45, and but I got a couple outsiders right now that are in different barns. I go and make sure they're mocked and hayed and watered and they're good for the morning, and then I go back to the main barn and start jogging at about 6:30. Then you jog till dinner time. By the time you get them all done, I got good barn help, so we roll through them pretty well, and then we had lunch, and then the work starts. You start putting them away, and it seems like you're there forever. It doesn't take long till 4:30, 5 o'clock to roll around, and then it's supper time. You feed supper, make sure the waters are topped up, and floors swept, and get ready for the next day, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. So you set a new personal best, as we had said a little bit earlier there, about 400,000. Would you consider last season to be your best? I mean, money wise, it was, Adam, but overall, do you think it was your best year?
Yeah, I think it was my best year. I mean, I had some downtime too. I think I missed 10 or 11 race days, but I mean, that stuff happens. It's some of my own stupidity too, I guess. But no, I had the most money I ever made and most wins I ever had. And Melissa, she had a record year. She had the most training wins she ever had and most money made. So we've been very fortunate. We have a full stable, and we don't have crazy expensive horses, but we have nice horses, and our owners are good. They're on our side for they let us like we race a lot of climbers and stuff, and they let me put them where I feel is fit for each individual horse, and we've had success.
No, that's great. And I think Caitlin was going to ask you about the fierce competition that you guys have over there far as driving. I think Red Shores, to be honest with you, has probably the best driving colony for a half-mile track in Canada. Would you agree that you've got quite a quite a list of great drivers over there?
Yeah, we have a great group of drivers. There's anywhere 8, 10, 12 drivers there that I think can drive anywhere in
Yeah.
Atlantic Canada or wherever you want to go. Like it's very competitive, but they're a great group of guys. We always carry on and joke. And I mean, if you're having a good night, we congratulate each other. And if you're having a poor night, well, we'll dig into that a little on you too. And just carrying on. It's all in good fun, but we respect each other, and we look out for each other and make sure everybody's safe. And
Yeah.
but it's a sport. It's competitive, and everybody wants to win. And
Yeah.
right. It's an emotional sport for sure.
Yeah.
But
So do you have?
it's good.
Go ahead, Caitlin.
Yeah. So, like you were saying, you guys are all buddies and you all have fun with each other. With that, is there like anyone that you really like to like have fun with, and like you guys are like the two that pick on each other at the track constantly? Or is there like I know there's always like, for example, Andy and George, they always pick at each other and they always have fun with it. Like there's got to be two of you, like you and someone else there that kind of always have the fun rivalry, even out on the track.
Yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah. Like my good buddy Corey McPherson there. I love tormenting him, and if I can beat him, 10 out of 10 times I'm going to try my hardest to. But I mean, that doesn't always work out that way. But we have a lot of fun, and I like Mark Campbell's a great guy to drive against and carry on and joke. And I mean, he congratulates you when you do good. And
Yeah.
Brody McPhee, he's always one of my top fellas to pick on. He's pretty simple, like on the purple parachute, right? It's
Oh, the purple parachute.
just a little inside joke, and I know he doesn't really like it that much, but it makes it even better. And
Yeah.
Jason the Blue Knight Hughes, I like driving by him in the lanes whenever I get the chance because he don't mind when I beat him. That's what I know he doesn't.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What goes through your mind, like when you're in a race and you're battling it out, and you know, there's someone coming and you decide to give a hole? Like, what kind of goes through your head at that spare of the moment? Because really, when you're out there, some of these races only last, 1 minute and 59 seconds. You don't have that whole lot of time span to kind of sit back and say, hey, I'll give you the hole, but are you gonna give me something back, type thing? Like, all
Yeah.
roll through your head out there on that track.
No, yeah, you're exactly right. You got to read the program. You got to know the horse you're driving, what type of trip they like the best. I mean, like I look over the program pretty good, and if I'm driving, most of the horse I drive, I'm familiar with, so I know what they like. If they like to be up close, I try and be aggressive off the gate to get situated. And if I make front and I think there's a horse in the race that's a little better than me, I'll try and release them and as early as I can and follow them. Hopefully, they can take me to the head of the stretch. Maybe either get up the pass lane or get out or whatever. But you just gotta. Most times when the list comes out, you read it and you race against the same horses week in, week out. So, kind of see what everybody's going to do before the race, even the wings fall. But sometimes it's different, 100% different when the wings fall. Somebody comes you don't expect, and if they got to be left out, so be it. But we don't usually, if you're parked in Charlottetown, you deserve to be parked because we usually I'm not very keen on giving up the 2-all, but anywhere else, I won't see too many people stop, that's for sure.
Yeah. Awesome. And I know that we mentioned, or that we were talking off camera, and you had mentioned about having, I believe you said 9 2-year-olds this year. So I think you and Melissa have also kind of forayed into the breeding scene a little bit too, eh?
Yeah, no, we have between me and Melissa and a couple of the owners, we have 4 brood mares, and
Okay.
this year we only have one homebred. He's a Pang Shui. He's a full brother to Peter Pang from last year, a 3-year-old now training back. But he's the only homebred we have in training. But we have 3 homebreds between 2 and 3-year-olds that are at the barn, and they're coming back. They look like they're going to be okay. So.
How are your 2-year-olds looking this year? Any that kind of turning your head a little more than the other ones?
Yeah, there's like I said, there's 9 of them there, and they seem to be a good gated bunch, and they half know what they're doing right now. I mean, they're anywhere between 37 to 42, 45, a couple of ones there, and I'm happy with them. They get good attitudes and they look okay, yeah.
Yeah. So they all maritime bred, Adam, or have you got any US bred or any?
No, they're all maritime breds this year.
Oh, good stuff.
Well, actually, I have a 2-year-old trotter there. It's a green Manalishi filly. She's an
Oh,
Ontario.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah, she looks like she's been in 40 a couple of times. She looks like she's going to be all right. She's good gated and smart.
No, awesome. So what do you do besides horse racing? Anything outside that we might be a little surprised that you're a fan of, or favorite? I know you do your quick question thing there with Peter, and you've divulged a few things. But anything outside of racing that we might be surprised to know that you enjoy doing?
I like going to the rink with my little fella Jackson every chance I can. When we're racing it, I don't get there as often because he usually plays Saturdays and Sundays, and we race in them days. But when we every chance I can, I like to go watch him play. He enjoys it. And then when I get some downtime, I like to get home to Cape Breton to see my mother and my brothers. Right, I don't get to see them a lot because we're fairly busy. But every chance we can, I'd like to get down there for a few days and just relax. And when I get time off, I like to just put the feet up and take a breather for a little while.
Yeah, I've had a chance to watch your young fella grow up, and he sure loves the horses. So it must be something special having a son that takes as much interest as he has with his dad, and it must be a great feeling having your son around all the time.
Yeah, he's pretty fearless. He's been a few training trips already. He gets to hold.
Oh, is he?
He thinks that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, it's
No.
good. He likes the horses, and he's busy with school and hockey and his buddies, right? He doesn't come around much in the wintertime around the barn. It's kind of cold, but in the summertime, he's running up and down, back and forth to the winter circle as much as I can. As much as I can get him there. I don't get him there enough, he says, but as much as I can, I try to.
Yeah. No, right on. So lots of we were talking off camera about this upcoming season. We're only 5 weeks away, you had mentioned, from Red Shores qualifier. So lots of horse population over there, Adam, for race horses. You think probably with this favorable winter, we should see racing go off without a hitch this year? Any delays or anything?
Yeah, no, there's a lot of horses around. I mean, so everybody's in around, I guess, the race horses and 3-year-olds are in around the 20-25 mark, and there's a lot of good looking colts coming back. So I think we're in good shape. Yeah.
Yeah, and we talked briefly too about the fractional ownership. Have you guys taken on anybody as far as some new people to the sport in the last couple of years through that avenue, or just people that you've picked up over the last couple of years?
We have a couple groups there that we've had for the last 7 or 8 years, but we have a few guys joining them teams with some race horses. We but just recently purchased Mr. Kelly back. He was a 3-year-old colt we had here a couple of years ago. We just bought him back there a month ago, and we got a new guy in on him. So we're excited with that, and we got a few guys in on some colts this year at the sale.
Yeah.
It's mostly groups in our barn. I mean, it's easier on everybody if you have 4 or 5 guys than trying to do it yourself, for sure.
Yeah, it makes for funner racing days having lots of people around too.
Yeah, it's good to have a group around. If you're having to get your picture taken, everybody's usually out high-fiving in the winter circle. We have a lot of fun.
Yeah, awesome. Anything else you wanted, Caitlin? You go right ahead.
Yeah, I was just wondering, like, you had such a terrific year, like the past season. Do you have any like kind of goals that you're aiming for this year, or are you just gonna go with the flow and see what happens?
I don't really set any goals. I like when the racing starts, I try to have the horses in their best tip-top shape. They're as ready to go as much as possible. Try to do the best by them as I can for our owners and the grooms and everybody involved with them, and just hope to God that things work out their way and we have some luck and another good year. We've been doing really well. I mean, like the last couple of years, it seemed we were getting a little stronger and a little stronger, and I'm learning from my mistakes. I hope, and
Yeah.
just keep your fingers and toes crossed. The horses stay healthy and sound, and we go from there.
Yeah, no, I don't think you're not a guy that you can leave off a ticket. I know that you're as competitive and you're as consistent as a driver that there is over there. So best of luck this year. I think you're going to have another fantastic year. You had 114 wins last year, and hopefully you'll have some more than that this year.
Thank you, Scott, very much.
Yeah, you're very welcome. So, Kate, I'll kind of throw it to you to wrap things up, unless you have some more for Adam.
No, I'm good. I think we hit all the points that we were going to ask you, and I just want to thank you, Adam, for jumping on. I know this is not everyone's favorite thing to do, but it's so nice to be able to sit down and kind of talk to the drivers, talk to the trainers, about how their season was and what the upcoming season is looking like, and, getting to know more about you guys. So it kind of opens up maybe more possibilities for, new drivers to come in, or more trainers to, show up. So I muchly appreciate you jumping on and talking to us about everything.
No, thank you guys. Like, you do a great job, and I mean, it's great what you're doing. It breaks up the winter for sure. I enjoy watching your episodes.
Yeah, no, thanks very much. So once again, thanks for joining us. And we got Mark Campbell coming up Wednesday night. We're taping a thing with Mark, and he's going to talk a little bit about his trip away and the upcoming season. So we look forward to that. And again, we'd like to thank our sponsors, advanced appetite. And thank you for joining us on, this is our 5th episode actually of Behind the Gate podcast. And we look forward to next week. So thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you again.